Whew. So I wanted to give like a video update right after I woke up from a nap because, yeah, no, it's really interesting because I remember with UTIs, you get them from when you're younger and you don't do certain things after certain things, or you don't pee after sex. That's really why you get UTIs. So a long time ago, I didn't pee after sex, had a UTI, and I took some kind of antibiotic, like a real strong one. I think it what landed me in the hospital actually in the 90s. Um, I remember it was called sulfa, and then it gave me a high white blood cell count, and so I was in the hospital for, I don't know, a couple days or so, and so then I got better from that, but taking an antibiotic against a UTI will then develop a monster later on. And so when I did the J juice in the beginning of 2016, I had the UTI and I'm like, oh crap, it came back again. But yeah, I had to wake up. But then I used garlic oil on it. Instead of using the strong antibiotic from a pharmaceutical, I used garlic oil, which, okay, it did help. And maybe a bunch of J juice, I don't remember. And yeah, it helped, but it was still there. I didn't actually deal with my problem. I just put it to sleep. Well, it woke up again. But this time, I wasn't feeling any stinging or burning or any major discomfort where I felt like I had to take cherry juice or any of those other things. Or cranberry juice. I was eating a few cherries when I felt like, okay, let me cycle back. Yesterday, I smelled my underwear. It smelled like ammonia. And I'm like, okay, I smelled this before a couple weeks ago, but then I got that major co-infection. Okay, so I'm like thinking, oh, am I going to get another freaking infection again? Well, yeah, but this time it was the UTI, but it wasn't stinging today. It was just, I felt the onset, right when I was sitting and doing my typing, I felt the onset, the frequency to pee. But there was pee that's coming out. And I was drinking water too. Every time I went to the bathroom to go pee, I would drink water. And then I'd go back downstairs, type again, and then shit, I have to go pee again. What the hell? But I did feel energy down there. I felt energy. Like in my urethra, I felt energy, but it wasn't painful. It wasn't stinging. I was actually peeing out water. And then I added a little bit of salt to it. I added I was thinking I'm not doing waterfalls. I took an 8-ounce glass of water, sprinkled some salt in it. It was at the bottom, so I stirred it. And so I had just enough salt in my water to taste it, but not be overpowering. And it was diluted with water. And a lot of water. And so after drinking about maybe 3 or 4 glasses of water every single time I go to the restroom, then finally I had a little bit of salt water and still had to go use the restroom. And I was like, I'm no more salt water. And so then I'm like, you know what? I need to go and just sleep. And so that's really what the strategy is that when you're dealing with the UTI, you have to flush it out. So you drink a bunch of water, you flush it out. You can add a little bit of salt, but you don't want to cure it because you have to deal with it again. So you do just enough to kind of give you some electrolytes if you think that you're electrolyte deficient. But I noticed yesterday, along with that ammonia smelling underwear, I also felt my lips go dry. And so something was going on inside my body that was taking up a lot of moisture. And so when I looked up what ammonia smelling, pee is saying, yeah, it's dehydration. But what is the dehydration from? It wasn't like, it wasn't like I wasn't drinking enough water. I mean, I wasn't drinking a lot of water, but I'm like, am I drinking too much milk? Now I'm like, I'm going over in my head what I think is going on and speculating, but you can't do that and you can't blame the food. That's one of the most important things. Whenever you have some kind of infection or some kind of situation, it's a predisposed issue and it's coming unexpected. So you're going to start going through and looking back on your whole habits and what you ate and what you drank and where you were and all the other shit. And it's a human thing to do. But in reality, it's a predisposed issue. In reality, you have to deal with predisposed issues. And there's so much going on inside your body. Like there's a whole world inside your body. So there's totally infection. Infections are going to take water and it's going to make your lips go dry. And then the next day, yes, you're going to feel the release because that's what the body's doing. It's just releasing. And I had enough water in me. See, that's the thing. That's why you also want to have enough weight on your body because the weight on your body actually also holds a bunch of water, electrolytes, so that way if it needs to release because of infection or anything else that you may be exposed to or that needs to deal with, you have enough water, enough substance, enough fat, enough protein so your body can go through its reparations. And so then sleeping is the best thing. So then I said, okay, I'm going to take a nap. And so I laid down, watching some stupid Netflix stuff, closed my eyes, and I fell asleep really fast. And then I'm like, oh, I have to pee again. So I kept getting waking up to having to pee again. So that happened about maybe 3 or 4 times. I would fall asleep so quickly and then wake up and like, shit, I have to pee. So I go and pee, go back to bed, fall asleep again, wake up, go pee. And then finally it stopped. And now I'm okay. Okay. And the energy down there is gone. And I drank enough water to flush whatever, whatever residual passed out. And we just move on. And that is with no medication, not an antibiotic, nothing. You just have to sit with it. You got to know that it's going to end at some point. And the best escape is to sleep. Drink water much as you can. Don't overdo it, don't underdo it, but do whatever you got to do. And sometimes people are going to have such aggressive issues like in the beginning that you're going to want to do a cure. Okay, I understand that. Do it at that point in time if it's that bad, because it wasn't painful this time. Do whatever you got to do in the beginning, but then later on it's going to come back again and that's fine. But this time it'll be easier to deal with. And every single time you deal with your diseases that do come back from maybe you doing a slight cure, because in the beginning of the JJ world, you're bringing up so much infection and it's going to be painful. It'll come back. You'll deal with it again. And it'll be less and less and less and less and less. And then until it's non-existent. And that's how you have to look at this. So, wow. And this is some good, let me tell you, I've been going through so much that by the time I get to that section of the Jilly Juice objectives and then how to deal with Jilly Juice, yeah, you will be transitioning yourself out of the medical system. Nothing is going to be like, okay, you'll deal with all the energetic pain right off the bat when you're doing the J Juice. Oh no, you'll take your medication, you'll do your cannabis, you'll do whatever you got to do to deal with the pain and get through. But remember, you still have to revisit that again later. And it may come back later, not as aggressive, but it will be whatever. But then you will have to finally resolve yourself to sit with it. But again, if it's too painful, then you do what you got to do. Okay? And so I don't want to torture anyone. Let me tell you, if that was really painful, I would have done a bunch of JJs. But no, I did a little bit of salt water, tiny bit. Just a tiny bit, and I've made sure I still peed, and I flushed it out. I had a bunch of water beforehand just to make sure I kept flushing it out. And so, yeah. And so I was able to handle it. And my body was able to pull the moisture out of my body so it wasn't like I was peeing out nothing. Because that's what UTIs are so horrible, is when you have to go to the bathroom and it stings and you pee out nothing. And you're like, fuck, this is such a unproductive pee session. No, every single time I had to pee, I was peeing something out. Okay? And some of it was clear because I was drinking water. Some of it was a little bit yellowy. And I still got to drink more water because I still feel a little bit dry here, but the energy is gone and it's 3:00 and okay. All right? So you can get through your stuff, but it's going to take, remember, this is 6 years later. Okay? 6 years later. I just woke up. So if I had cross eyes or whatever. All right? So remember, not everything is going to be resolved right off the bat. You will revisit it later until you finally deal with it with no antibiotics. All right? Okay, bye.